Good morning and welcome to day 3. It is not raining currently, but it did rain, thunder, and lightning overnight. It was actually quite nice. Probably not going to be so nice when I hit the already wet trail today, and it's going to be pretty soggy. I did opt to have the coffee in the tent though, opposed to out there, even though it's not raining. The mosquitoes are so bad. I'm going to drink my coffee, have my oatmeal, head down to the shower house, take advantage of that to be able to get dressed down there, come back, pack up the rest of my stuff, and then we'll be hitting the trail. Got a big day today. I think I'm going to try to push for around 18 miles. We'll see. The conditions kind of depend. Those soggy, wet miles, they turn into very slow miles. So I do have the option to stop short at some other campsites if I need to. So we'll just kind of see how the day unfolds. Coming out of camp and cross through the bridge, and we'll follow along the river here. So we are about a mile from the Devil's Kettle, and that is a waterfall. It's actually 2 waterfalls that come down, and the one on the left goes down into a hole, and for the longest time they never knew where that went. They put ping pong balls down there, they put dye down there, they put trackers down there, and they never found out where it went for a really long time until I believe they did some other type of test on it, on water levels and things, and they finally realized that it goes underwater for about 400 feet and then rejoins the Brule River. I'm already anticipating today to be a grind, just from the reports that I had heard and just other things I've read on this section of trail. My strategy is that I'm gonna try to cruise where I can. I know those other sections will be slow, not that I'm in a race, but I would like to cover the ground to make it to Jackson camp. I really would like to keep my miles as low as possible for tomorrow. I also have all the food that I want to eat today for snacks and lunch in my hip belt or in this bottom pouch here. It is not enjoyable to take a break when you're in a swamp and you have mosquitoes swarming and descending on you. So again, part of my strategy is to keep it moving. The Devil's Kettle. Just passed someone's underwear hanging in a tree, and as I was wondering, how does one lose their underwear on trail? I looked down and there was a snake between my feet. I don't know who was more scared, me or them, but I was doing a very uncoordinated dance and the snake didn't know which way to go, and I just took off. See you later, buddy. So guessing there are several ways to lose your underwear in a tree, but the first thought that comes to my mind is that possibly a backpacker had them hanging on the outside of their pack to dry or whatever and lost them coming through the trees, which is exactly how I lost both the caps to my trekking poles. Luckily, I have plenty of spares of those, as I've gone through quite a few trekking poles and have harvested the remains for parts. Also, another very small strategy I pulled today was I swapped my tank top for a t-shirt. I prefer a tank top over the t-shirt, but it's not this pack specific, it's all packs that I wear. I do tend to get some rubbing on my shoulders, and with sweating and humidity, it does end up kind of tearing my skin off and can be quite irritating. So today, just to not deal with that or further aggravate it, I did swap to a t-shirt. Just one less thing to zap that mental energy. And boy, is it ever humid today. I feel like I am trekking through the jungle. Just came out of the jungle for a second. Ugh, mosquitoes in my mouth. The mosquitoes are not much better out here. I thought maybe they would be, but oh man, it just got me in the face. It is so wet in there, just kind of brushing up against trees or tall like vegetation. Just came out of the jungle there and heading back into the jungle over here. Let's go. Just came out to another opening. Breezy here, less mosquitoes. Just taking a minute before heading back into the jungle. Pretty nice view to look at too. Just learn to embrace going through the mud. Once your feet are wet, they're wet. Just go through. One, you're supposed to go directly through and not try to navigate around, but it's quite liberating once your feet are already wet because you just plow right through. Looks like we made it to a 1.7 mile road walk upon us. I'm usually not one for road walks, but this might not be too bad. This is actually a bit welcomed. The bugs are not too bad here, and it's just giving me a minute to reset. What I'll also do on here is I'll take my pack off and do a full spray down, a bug spray. It's coming off pretty quickly, and I don't know how much it was really working anyway, but I'll still do it. For those of you not around Minnesota, not familiar with Minnesota, you're probably wondering, you know, why go out there when there's so many bugs and so many mosquitoes and it's wet and there's rain? Great question. I'd love to tell you. If you know anything about the North Shore, it is extremely beautiful. Love it. It's a little gem here in this state. However, first up here after the snow melt, you're going to hit mud season. A lot of mud, a lot of black flies. Then come the mosquitoes, and the mosquitoes stay throughout the summer. And I personally don't trust any weather reports up here. It could show that it's raining and it doesn't rain, and it could show that there is no rain and it does end up raining. That's the lake effect with Lake Superior. It's just very unpredictable up here. So you can't exactly plan to come up here on beautiful weather. You kind of have to take a gamble and a little bit of a risk. Especially for me, it's not just a, whim jaunt. Sometimes I take whim trips, but it's not to come do a 3-day trip or 4-day trip like this and take time off work. I do have to pre-schedule that and plan it versus maybe just coming up here on the weekend for a night or two. Usually sometime in August, the mosquitoes do start waning. Believe it or not, I've actually been up here when the mosquitoes have been far worse than this in early July. So they're actually on the decline right now. Come the end of summer, you get into fall, and that is the most beautiful time up here. Fall is the best time up on the Superior Hiking Trail. I love coming up here in the fall. However, I'm already planning another trip in the fall, and I have another backpacking trip scheduled to come up here with some friends in October. It just doesn't leave me a lot of time with all my other weekends being full to complete the trail. So if I wanted to complete it this year, which I did, I kind of had to come up this weekend, and you just end up dealing with it. So when the conditions are really good up here, you just take it and embrace it. And on the times when it's not as ideal, just remember, it can always be worse. Oh, we're in it now. We're in the swamp. Yeah, buddy. Oh boy. To keep my morale up, I thought I'd share a little bit of gratitude. I am very grateful for the DNR that I ran into yesterday. They were able to provide me some tape to help put my selfie stick back together. I had turned the notch too tight on it, and then I cranked my phone off of there, so it started to snap, and I was like, no, I can't lose my selfie stick before the end. So I was very grateful to run into him and have him be able to help out. And also I'd like to say thanks for all of you that watch my videos and comment on them. I've said it before in the past, but I really love connecting with the backpacking community, and I've connected with some really cool people out there who have sent me messages, and I've been able to help share some insight and thoughts on the trail. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Got another 1.4 mile road walk. And if you can't tell from looking at my face, I am grinding, man. I'm almost kind of like speed walking / trail running. The second, and I mean the second you slow down on that trail, the mosquitoes are all over you. So, and there's been a constant buzz in my ear, which always drives me crazy. They're still bad out here, but not as bad as when you're back in there. Very swampy conditions in there. I am watching the signs and map carefully. Today's not the day to go off trail. Scared out of my wits by my second snake today. Promised to a grind, and the grind is here. Oh, I spent probably 8 or so miles in kind of that low swampy area. So the mosquitoes are just relentless. I just climbed a huge hill and it's a little breezier up here. The fly is still kind of buzzing in my ear, but the mosquitoes are somewhat at bay for a second, as one's on my phone. I pulled trigger on some electrolytes. I am just sweating so much. I like the Element electrolytes. I've said in kind of past videos that I joked about the flavor in my water bottle, and then they have unflavored, which is just kind of really salty. I did the citrus salt. I think I have a watermelon too with me. It was actually really good and refreshing. So hopefully that will kind of help replace a little bit of what I'm losing. More gratitude. Thank you so much, SHTA, for these boardwalks. They were so nice to not have to go through more swamp. I am so thankful to hear water right now. This is all that I have left, and I've been going through it, and there hasn't really been anything really reliable. That was much needed. I was able to fill up this, and I also filled up my liter. In this stretch, the water has been a little bit more scarce, and I've been going through it, so I'd rather carry a little more. Just passing through North Carlson Pond, and I passed South Carlson a while back. So next up is Caribou Pond. South Carlson, North Carlson were both the ones I had referenced that I could stop short at if I needed to. Caribou Pond would be the one that I was planning to stay at, but I will assess once I get there. Otherwise, I would like to push to Jackson Lake. Just ran into my first people of the trip. I ran into a group of 3 out on a backpacking trip. They had started from Hazel this morning. Hazel was that one that was about 8.5 miles out of Magney that I was considering going to last night. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go there. Not that I wouldn't have loved to camp with them, but when I passed through, it looked like the tiniest little site. I don't know. We would have made it work, but it might have been a little tough to get us all in there. Sudden thought I hit a port key that brought me to the Adirondacks. All of a sudden, I just was climbing up, and now I'm climbing up some of this rock. I wasn't expecting that coming from the swamp. Actually, now that I'm up here, I came up this way and came up the rock. I'm wondering if the trail went around that way, a little more easier way than scrambling up this, but oh well. All part of the adventure. Made it to another mini overlook. Can't really tell, but that is Lake Superior over there. Man, just grind, 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 grind. Made it to Caribou Pond campsite. It's right here off the trail. I am going to push to get to Jackson, which was my plan and kind of in what I had decided I wanted to do. But I would love to set up my little bubble and jump in it right now and just try to decompress. But I feel I got 3 miles to get to Jackson. I feel like I have gas in the tank to do it. And I'm really happy tomorrow that I've lopped off those miles, as well as somehow 3 extra miles when you know you're lopping off tomorrow's miles somehow seem easier. Was gonna try to get water here, but there's a pretty stagnant pond over here that is not looking too good for that. So I'll just keep moving and see what else I can find. Luckily, I was able to come right down from the campsite. There's a creek here, which is really nice. I already had this one full, which would be fine for me to get to 3 miles, but I've really been going through it. So just makes me feel better to fill up my other one. And looks like a pretty easy rock hop, but looks like the little bridges out here. Another overlook. This is the Hellacious Overlook. And this is actually quite beautiful. I will tell you, the only thing hellacious up here is this look. I am disgusting. Made it to Jackson Creek Camp, and I think I set up my tent in record time. I set it up and dove right in so that I could just take a minute to decompress away from the mosquitoes. There is a creek right down the way, so let's head down there and clean up a little bit. On the way down, I might as well give you a little tour of the campsite. So I'm kind of tucked away back in here, and then it looks like there's maybe some other spaces here. It looks pretty rocky and ruddy up here. The latrine is back that way. Oh man, that really hurt. I'm in my flip-flops and my toes are jacked up. I posted a picture of them on social media if you want to go out to @WildFox Outdoors on Instagram and Facebook and check it out. Oh man, it's bleeding. Hazard of filming and walking, I suppose. So here is the main area, fire pit. And then it looks like there is another spot over here. I was actually pleasantly surprised. This is way better than Caribou. I'm glad that I pushed to come down here. And then I'll flip this around. This is kind of cool. These huge rocks here are always kind of fun to run into on trail. This little creek is just amazing. I already washed most of the dirt off and have just been hanging out in here. Surprisingly, the mosquitoes are not bothering me at all in here. After a long day on trail, this is so nice. I found a little rock to perch up on and just have my feet in the water. Oh, hard day, what? All of a sudden you forget about it. Now, if the mosquitoes were on me right now, that'd be a whole different story, but they seem to be not too interested over the water here, which is just amazing. The sun feels great. Feels so good to rinse my feet off and get the dirt off. I have so much dirt I had all along here, and I have so many mosquito bites. I got tore up today. I'm gonna sit down here for a few minutes and then head back to camp, figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner. All right, I was super reluctant to come out of my tent. The mosquitoes are bad, but I'm gonna try to make dinner. I'm gonna put my socks on, see if that helps. After today, I just don't know how many more mosquito bites I can handle. What's on the menu? Chicken and rice for one. All right, that's it. I'm pulling the eject button. I'm making this in my tent, by my tent. I can't with this. I probably just got like 6 or 7 bites just in the time I'm here on my feet. Retreat, retreat! I made my dinner outside my tent. These mosquitoes are insane. They are sitting on the outside of this, and as soon as I open, they are just flying right in, and then I have to kill them all. And they are just waiting. Like they didn't get enough today. I had heard that the mosquitoes are pretty bad past Magney. Can confirm. All right. Got the chicken and rice ready. I have not had this. I just found it in my bin. I don't even remember buying it. Probably bought it for a past trip and never ate it. To be honest, this doesn't sound great right now. This is basically all rice, and that's just not my jam. But I mean, I like rice, but this is a lot of rice. Tastes good, but I will say this. There is no way I'm eating this whole thing, even though it's for one. It's way too much food. I pushed super hard today, which you'd think would make me really hungry, but it's kind of made me the opposite. Dinner is done. I am feeling more alive. Now time for dessert. Treats. I am grinding on trail all day. I always look forward to my little morale boosters, my treats at night. So I have a little trail mix left over, a little bit of a strawberry Pop-Tart. I have a cherry fruit pie. Then I have the remains of my little gummy treats that I just look forward to every night on trails. Now I'm gonna pig out. Will say I did do pretty good on my food planning this trip. I have my oatmeal coffee for tomorrow morning. I have a couple bars to get me to the northern terminus and back. And then if I eat all these treats, which I think I'll be able to do, I won't have anything left, pretty much be walking to my car with nothing. The time has come for me to kick back and put a movie on and relax, eat my treats, then go hang my bear bag, and it's gonna be lights out for me, no surprise. Tomorrow's short, but I'm anticipating more of the same tomorrow. It will be nice hitting the northern terminus, the end point for the finale. So we will see you in the morning for the big day. Good morning and welcome to the finish line day. Yay! Just stopped raining. Went and got my bear bag, ran down and grabbed some water, got some coffee going. My fuel is on its last, it died. At least it's warm, so it will do. It's actually perfect. Trying not to make too much noise. There was a hiker that came in about 9 o'clock last night and set up, and they're still in their tent, so I don't want to make too much noise. I have 8 miles to do today, and it is 6 miles to get to my car, and then I have a 1 mile to 270 Overlook, and then 1 mile back to my car. My plan for today is to go to my car, drop my pack, put on my slack pack, and just slack pack the out and back to the 270 Overlook. For those of you who watch my Centennial journey, you know I felt very strongly about finishing with my full pack on, and I feel a little bit different about this trip because I slack packed a lot of this trail, not the majority of it by any means, but definitely some sections I did just do in day hikes or long day hikes, like the entire section of Duluth, the 30-mile stretch, I did that in a day hike. So I just don't feel as strongly that I have to finish with my pack on. Got him. Looks like not before he got me. He's probably the one that flew in here when I was making coffee and got me in the head. Both my water filters are failing me. Yesterday, the ring in the bottom of my Sawyer kind of got misshaped, and I didn't want to mess around with it anymore, but it was putting dirty water as you squeezed it down, and I'm sure I can mess around with it when I get home and fix it. But then I'm like, all right, I got my backup. So my Catadine and that is just so slow. So I'm hoping I can get 6 miles to my car just on a full water bottle, and then I have water in my car for my out and back 2 miles. Back into the green tunnel again. I just did a climb out of camp, and there's a nice little view here. I do believe that's Jackson Lake down there, and it's really pretty. The temps are pretty mild. It's got to be about 60 degrees out. So that is really nice. I think that's helping keep the mosquitoes somewhat at bay. They're definitely here, so I'm gonna just try to keep it moving. I'll give you a little look at the trail so you can see what I mean by green tunnel. I'm sure most of you already know, but there's just not a whole lot to report on these sections. You see what I mean? I will take it over the swamp though. I think it's about that time that I could probably comment on my favorite sections of this trail. Almost have completing this. I don't think it's gonna change drastically too much in the few miles I have left. My favorite sections that I think offer a lot within the space that they're in is from probably around like Lutzen or the Lake Agnes area all the way down south to right around Tetagooch. Split Rock is also nice, but between, I would say, Lutzen and Tetagooch are kind of my favorite sections of the trail. Just has a lot to offer. Great campsites, great overlooks, camping by streams, and there is, of course, a lot of up and down. But for me, it's just a beautiful section of trail. I did a quick out and back to section 13 so you can see that, but all of the other trail that I completed was prior to me starting to film my adventures. I wish I could have brought you along for that to see. I will get back up there to do those sections again. But when I come back up here, that's pretty much where I'll be hanging out. Here we are, highest elevation on the Superior Hiking Trail, 1829 feet. I just climbed up the hill to get here. I was watching another through hike of the trail, and these two guys doing the trail, when they passed that, they're like, it's all downhill from here. And I was like, you boys are gonna learn today. And they did. All of a sudden they were up and down and up and down, and they're like, man, this trail was so much more rocky and rootier than I ever thought that it would be. I was like, yep, that's the Superior Hiking Trail. I also just got a welcome to Canada message on my phone. Not quite there yet, but getting close. And in true fashion, I just looked at the map. I miscalculated the distance, not by much. It's 8 miles to the 270 overlook, then the mile back, which I thought I had accounted for, but now looking at the map, I did not. So 9 miles total today. No big deal. We are back in the swamp and it's raining. I've actually been extremely fortunate with the rain thus far, having it only be overnight when I'm in my tent. So it's not too bad right now. We'll see if it picks up. We're in it. We are in the swamp, and a messy little tangle at that. Huh. It's picking up. Wasn't supposed to rain today. Don't trust those weather reports. It was supposed to rain early AM, I saw, but I don't think there was any rain forecasted after that. Made it to 270 Trailhead. I got a mile out, mile back. The rain has really picked up now, so let's get this done. Kind of sprinted up that last little bit. 170-degree overlook. And just for us, the rain stopped. This will also conclude my section hike of the Superior Hiking Trail. What a journey it's been. Thank you so much for watching this video. Click subscribe to follow along on my future adventures. You can also find me at Wild Fox Outdoors on social media. I do post my pictures from my trips on there, as well as announce my videos. To see you on the trail. Stay wild.